Alright guys, it's Dokkan time, and today we shall be doing the how to build for the new LR Yellow Coin, Kid Gohan, and Piccolo. So this is a pretty good unit. I mean, they're pretty dang good, I will say. I will say it's a pretty good Yellow Coin unit. Would I say it's on the degree of necessarily like LR Bulma? Probably not. They are very good, though. They are very good. So, as per usual, we're going to go over a quick glimpse of their build, their roles, and then we'll go over their kit and their defense, and then that'll be pretty much the end of, that's it. So, anyways, so on the right side of the screen, you will see that there is, well, the 55% build. So, the 55% build is interesting, and I will say, yes, this is minimum. I forgot to put that in there. Level 5. Like, there's no reason to give these boys crit. They have built-in crit, which is very significant, actually. They have like 60% crit and 50% crit. My rule of thumb is if a unit has built-in crit of 50% or more, there's zero reason to give the unit crit. So therefore, you just default to whatever's left over, which is additional or dodge. In the case of this unit, they are primarily a defensive unit. So even at 55%, your choice is literally do additionals to buff the stacking and defense, or dodge because you're a dodge advocate. I do suggest that the bronze equip is straight up just always defense. I don't see any reason really to stray away from that. I could potentially see maybe an HP orb, or even, you know, if you really want to go with an additional or a dodge equip, that would be entirely up to you. But personally, I feel like a defense orb is just right at home with them. In the silver slot, you can either do a additional orb or a dodge orb. That's entirely up to you, as that is the only benefit they'll really be having. So as far as for an actual fully built up build, I would suggest going for a full additional build. I don't see a reason to give him full dodge. As of right now, I don't see, as long as you use the Piccolo, once he transforms into Piccolo and whatnot, I don't see any reason. He should be fine, theoretically, to not have to worry about dodging. He's a pretty dang good tank. So I do suggest going full-on additional. You can do a little bit of dodge. There's nothing wrong with that. Dual dodge, if you want to. But at the end of the day, this is a tank unit that does pretty good damage, but you do want them to have additional so that they can stack, which we will get into that in just in a minute. Now we'll go over his roles. The roles for this unit are a little rough. I don't feel like this unit has a proper placement in the game as of right now, just because it's a Planet Namek Saga unit. So the leaders are kind of all over the place. I usually don't do this. I usually only put on 200%, but this unit can actually gain some actual like good stability on teams like these. LR Gogeta is said to be one of the best units in the game now after Easying. Of course, no one's going to ever discredit the absolute greatness that is TEQ UI and what his domain and he himself and his team can offer. He does fit pretty well on TEQ UI's team. And then there's, of course, an Earthbred Fighters team. I really do feel like this unit is a unit that, if it had came out last year, it would be broken. Not necessarily last year, but, you know, around the time that we did get the 23rd World Tournament Goku, I would say that this unit would have been thriving on teams of Earthbred Fighters just because of Piccolos and just other Earthbred Fighters that this unit can benefit from. But then the 200% options, Beast Gohan, Namek Vegeta Scouter, and then, of course, Goku Youth, Dragon Ball Saga. Not Dragon Ball Saga team, but he's a youth leader. So, but these two are the primary two leaders I would suggest people rock. Beast Gohan being the actually best meta-worthy team to actually be rocking with. It's really hard to find an actual good sub-leader if you don't have Beast Gohan, though. This unit is very particular. As far as partners go, it's really tough. I'm not gonna lie. Basically, what you want out of this unit, because of his links, you want his kit, you want him to have Orange Piccolo with him, because Orange Piccolo is the only good Namekian in the game right now that can be just thrown onto the team with him. Nail is an option. I will say Nail should be a good benefit, but because of the state of the Namek Saga team at the time of this recording, Namek Saga is not a good enough team to be rocking like double Vegeta along with these guys. I mean, you can make it work, but it's really funky and not necessarily comfortable. The most comfortable this unit can be links-wise, team-wise, team synergy, and just team not, dragging their weight around is definitely going to be on a Beast Gohan team. And as far as best slot position goes, this is a slot 1 unit that can go into slot 2. But, this unit needs to be in slot 1 up until they transform into Piccolo, and then once they go into Piccolo, that is when you can put Piccolo into slot 1, or you can throw him into slot 2. At that point, you can put him wherever you want to, really. So, I apologize, that was a little bit long-runned, so I'll just go ahead and let that roll, and we will go over his kit. So, as far as 200% lead options go, the only meta-worthy team, in my personal opinion, is straight-up Beast Gohan. Vegeta is a very good unit, but I feel like because of the lack of synergy he has with just about every team you can put him on, it makes it difficult to run him. He is a good unit. He is good. But I'm not going to say that he's 100% reliable, not to mention the fact that I refuse to believe that in a month's time, even in a month and a half, nobody's going to be seeing this guy as their leader. So you won't probably be able to take advantage of this in a month or 2 from now if you pulled this unit randomly. Or see, even 6 months down the line, I highly doubt you will see this. Beast Gohan, I feel like you're just going to see like he was AGL Gohan back in the day, and he's just always going to be a leader that's thrown out there. So Beast Gohan is 100% my best pick for a leader with this unit still. Moving on from the 200% leaders, he is a 150 because he's a yellow coin. I really wish they would just do away with yellow coin leader skills. 150 is ridiculous. He should bare minimum be a 170. He does stack attack and defense in the 12 key. The only issue I have with it is that it's only a 20% gain, so it feels very minimal from the stacks you get. You would need to get probably 3 to 4 stacks to really feel very much out of it. They do massively raise attack and defense on 18 key super, but because of the stacking capability, I cannot stress enough that you want this unit to 12 key super more than you want it to 18 key super. And I'll give you a solid argument for that once we hit this passive here. So, attack and defense 200% plus an additional attack plus 150%. Key plus 3 reduces damage received by 30% and chance of performing a crit plus 30%, and launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack for 3 turns from the character's entry turn. So basically for Kid Gohan, when you're at Kid Gohan, for the first 2 appearances, turn 1 and 3, you will have an extra 30% damage reduction, an extra 30% crit chance, and a 50% chance to do an additional super. He then has Key plus 3, reduces damage received by 30%, and chance of performing a critical hit plus 30% as the first attack on a turn. This basically means that you need to put this unit into slot 1 to maximize your effectiveness with damage reduction. So with the intro and with this, that's a 60% damage reduction. Key plus 3 reduces damage received by 20% and chance of performing a critical hit plus 20% when there is another Planet Namek Saga or Namekian category ally attacking in the same turn, and then recovers 20% HP at the end of the turn. So this is primarily a supportive unit, a supportive defending unit that goes into slot 1. Obviously, for the first 3 turns, you have 30, 30, 20. You have 80% damage reduction for the first 2 appearances. After that, you will only have 50% because you lose this. So let's move on down the list here. This unit can exchange into Piccolo by once you have HP is 70% or less starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle. You'll notice that this says from the 4th turn. That's because as soon as you'll lose that 30% for the 3 turns, and then the preceding turn you won't have that anymore. So on the turn that you can exchange with this unit is the turn you will not have that 30% damage reduction. So you better hope that you have 70% HP or less so you can transform. Because if you don't, you actually might be in trouble a little bit. Because then you have to wait until the 6th turn, which would just be one more turn. So if you can safely place the Kid Gohan somewhere on the rotation, or even just float them safely, then you'll be able to transform the next turn afterwards when they come back. The links, unfortunately, are Kid Gohan oriented. Saiyan Warrior Race, All in the Family, Gaze of Respect, Shocking Speed, Demonic Ways, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. You will never see Demonic Ways active. That is not a link that is shared by any actual good units. Gaze of Respect will be very rarely used. Shocking Speed you'll see active. All in the Family very rarely, ironically, unless you're pairing him with Beast Gohan, which is one of his best partners. And then Legendary Power. As far as his categories go, it's a little rough. Planet Namek Saga, Master and Student Bond. I mean, these are all good categories. The problem is you know, the leaders and the synergy. That's the problem. But as far as the links go, as I said, it is a little bit rough. Beast Gohan is your primary best link partner for the meta right now. And that is pretty much it. I mean, if you can find a comfortable fit to throw him with an Ultimate Gohan, it can work for sure. As I said, Earthbred Fighters is exactly where this unit is comfortable with. He also does share quite a few links with the new quote-unquote best unit in the game, LR movie Gohan right here. The only problem being is that, like, you're not really rocking too many teams where you'll have a 200% total. That is the biggest issue I find with this, is like, this unit has very few 200% options. Lots of options, by the way, to freely raise the super attack up. I mean, these are stupidly easy to grind and find in the game. But anyways. So, with all that, let's go look at Piccolo. I hate these exchange units because I have to basically go over 2 kits. So, with Piccolo, you still will only raise attack and defense at 20% on 12 key. You still massively raise attack and defense on 18. But now you have key plus 8 attack and defense plus 250%. So, honestly, Kid Gohan will struggle with key a little bit unless he's paired with, like, a perfect Kami Piccolo unit or something. Plus an additional attack and 150% when performing a super. Reduces damage received by 50%. 50% chance of performing a crit. And launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack. Plus an additional key plus 4 and launches an additional super starting from the turn in which the character receives an attack. Now, I still don't know for sure, could be based on the wording, but based on the wording and how I'm perceiving and understanding it is, once this unit just takes 1 hit, after that turn, they're just doing an additional super every time. When HP is 70% or more at the start of the turn, plus an additional damage reduction of 20% and superclass allies defense plus 70%. So this right here, this defense of superclass allies plus 70% is exactly why people are kind of like really giving this unit a lot of extra love. And I don't feel like people understand that you have to be above 70% HP for this unit to have 70% damage reduction and buffing allies by 70% defense. You could very well transform into this Piccolo and be below the HP threshold, and it will not have the 70% damage reduction or the buff because you're below 70% HP. Remember, it has to be at start of turn. So on the transforming turn of this Piccolo, unless it's just from the 6th turn, you will not have this activated. Just keep that in mind. When HP is 70% or less, however, though, this unit will auto dodge, and then from the next turn onwards, it'll have 50% damage reduction if you're below 70% HP. And then recovers 25% HP at the end of the turn. Very good. The links do change a little bit. You now have Brainiacs and Namekians. The rest of the links are the same. This is the part where an orange Piccolo will come in handy, and you'll get Brainiacs and Namekians going off, which will actually link pretty decently well. It would be nice if this TEQ Piccolo easy aid and was actually very good, because it would be a perfect partner in all honesty. But otherwise, I mean, you're just hoping for more Nameks to use. If this Piccolo was actually really good, like if he actually was defensively more viable, I would say this is his best partner and you should try to rock him. This unit right here is too squishy. He is way too squishy. If you're a ballsy and you want to utilize his scouter effect and try to protect him until he's stacked up enough, this is a perfect partner for this Gohan. A perfect partner in Kid Gohan up to transforming with Piccolo. He's just a perfect partner through and through because he's got Scouter. But he's so defensively weak that even normals could potentially kill him until he's fully buffed up. So that's something I really wanted to throw in there. But anyways, so with all of that finally being done and said and over with, let's move on to the defense calculations, which will be complements of Halvard. So in the Gohan state, he can have some pretty decent defense margins with stacks, of course. Max defense of 1,000,000. You know, with the damage reduction, you know, even a 60% damage reduction, that's pretty good still, you know? That's still pretty good. But that's with post-super. You gotta understand that. If you're throwing this unit into slot 1, you have to be aware of the start of turn defense, which unfortunately at the beginning of the fight is pretty low. 250k defense is an automatic, I'm gonna get almost one shot. But the good news is that, you know, for the first 3 turns, you have 80% damage reduction, so it can virtually make it guaranteed to tank just about every super possible of any fight you go into. And then, of course, the more and more super attack effects you get up will be better. This is why I'm saying, like, you should 100% aim for the 12-key super and hope that he stacks enough within those first 2 appearances to get to a high, respectable number of start of turn defense, so that even if you lose the damage reduction, you'll still be safe. Once he transforms into Piccolo, though, then it's just kind of all season, because you'll have the 70% damage reduction with super attacks constantly building up from base. I mean, your defense is going to be so high. I mean, shoot. I just don't see this unit dying. You know, once you get to the Piccolo point, I'd say it's pretty much like you will never have to worry about this Piccolo. Defense-wise, this Piccolo is great. It's fine. If we were purely talking about Piccolo himself, there would be no issue with this unit. This unit would be fantastic. I'd say go summon for him. That's great. But the problem I have with this unit is the base state. It's the team synergy. It's the restrictions in his base state. It's the amount of effort that it does take to get to the Piccolo state. That's what makes me say don't summon for him. Wait for him to come back. He is a yellow coin unit. He's still very good, but I don't think people are understanding just how much, at the time of recording, we have 10th anniversary hype going on. We have year 1 and year 2 anniversary build-up things here coming throughout this month and next month, and then 3rd and 4th anniversary and 5th and 6th. We're gonna get a lot of good units and easy A's and super easy A's coming in the next 3 to 4 months, and I just feel like this unit's gonna get outshined very quickly. And with how particular the unit is, it's tough to recommend to summon for it and to not just say it. Very good unit. It's just they're just waiting for that one little sweet bit of a good leader to really bring it in. And honestly, it's looking for a good Piccolo. It's looking for a good Piccolo. If this unit actually had Namekians as a category, we would be having a different conversation, because Nail is a fantastic unit. And Nail is just waiting for a perfect partner. And this could have been Nail's perfect partner, but it just wasn't. They were cowards. They didn't want to give it to him. So anyways, guys, let me know if you are going to skip or summon for this unit, how you're going to build them, and what team you're going to rock them on. So anyways, thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.